take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, just imagine you're breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you breathe out, just imagine that any tension, stress, or anxiety is just leaving your body. Breathing in that relaxation and breathing out that tension. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you're not where you are right now. Completely forget where you are right now and just imagine that you are in a forest in Sweden. I want you to imagine that you're there on the forest floor and you're looking around and you can see the trees. You can breathe in that fresh Swedish air and get a sense of calm and tranquility with each and every breath. Breathing in that fresh Swedish air, and as you exhale, feeling that any remaining tension and stress is just leaving your body now. That's right. And as you walk through the forest, become increasingly aware of all the sounds around you. Perhaps you can hear the sound of birds tweeting in the branches. Perhaps there is a breeze that you can hear rustling the leaves of the trees. And I don't know if it's summer or spring in this Swedish forest, but get a sense of the smells that perhaps you can notice as you walk through this ancient Swedish forest. And perhaps you're wondering why this forest needs to be in Sweden. Some people in Sweden and in many parts of Scandinavia buy into an idea called Lagom. And Lagom simply means just the right amount. Perhaps you could also interpret it as balance. Not too much, not too little, but just the right amount. And I want you to feel an increasing sensation of balance as you walk through this forest. Become aware that a forest by its nature is always in balance. That if there is too many trees, then there is insufficient sunlight for the remaining trees and they wither and die. And if a tree was to fall in the forest, the excess sunlight available would enable pre-existing trees to get bigger or new plants to grow. And as you walk through this Swedish forest, I want you to feel not just a balance within the forest, but an increasing balance within yourself. Because sometimes excess tension, stress, overwhelm can be a clue that we are out of balance. And I wonder what it would be like as you take each and every step in this forest to feel that you're increasingly becoming balanced. That there is just the right amount of tension. Because in a body, if there is no tension whatsoever, then you're simply impossible to walk or move. But if there is too much tension, then it creates circumstances in the muscles where you can increase the amount of stress and rigidity, increasing ill health and perhaps even pain. And I want you to accept the idea that being in balance enables you to live life better than either too much or too little. And think of motivation. Think of motivation that if you're not motivated at all, then you don't do anything. But sometimes if you're too motivated, that can create excess pressure. It can impede your ability to do things in the right way. And allow the idea of this Swedish concept of lagom to ripple throughout your entire body now. And as you keep walking through the forest, I want you to notice that you see an old cottage. An old cottage that looks very pretty. And I want you to knock on the door of this cottage. And you realize that nobody is there. But at the same time, it's starting to get colder in the forest. And you feel like this old pretty cottage might be a good place to take a rest. And I want you to go into this old cottage, and you're immediately hit with a smell of freshly cooked food. I want you to notice that there are 3 bowls of porridge right there on the table. And I want you to try the first bowl of porridge and just get a sense of it being way too hot that it would actually burn your tongue if you try to eat too much. And then the second bowl of porridge, as you aim to eat it, just feels way too cold. And then there is a third bowl of porridge, and as it touches your lips, it feels at exactly the right temperature. And I want you to imagine, as you're eating that porridge, that you're not just eating the porridge, but the porridge contains this Swedish concept of lagom, this idea of balance. And as you imagine eating the porridge, imagine that you are filling your body with more balance and the perception to know when you need more balance in your life. And then, when the porridge is finished, I want you to feel drowsy. So drowsy, in fact, that you go to a room in front of a roaring open fire. You notice that the fire isn't so hot that you would burn yourself, but it isn't so cold that you would feel chilly, that the fire itself is just the right heat. And you notice in this lounge area, there are 3 chairs. And I want you to try sitting in the first chair and notice that it is way too hard. So hard that it's just not comfortable to sit in this chair. And then you see another chair, which you try. And this chair is just way too soft, not giving you any support whatsoever. But then there's this third chair. And this third chair, as you sit into it, feels just right. It feels the perfect level of support, but also soft enough for you to really enjoy feeling relaxed. And I want you to imagine, as you sit in that relaxing chair, that you're still breathing in that feeling of calm and relaxation. But now you're also breathing in lagom, this balance. Imagine the lagom going in through your nose, filling your lungs, so that with each and every breath you're becoming more and more balanced, that you get to judge things just right. That's right. And imagine drifting off to sleep in this chair, and you're feeling deeper and deeper relaxed just by being in this chair, breathing in this sensation of balance. And now I want you to imagine that you're dreaming that you are walking upstairs. You're still fast asleep in that chair, but you're now dreaming that you're walking upstairs, and there are 3 beds. And again, you try the 3 beds. One is just way too hard, the other is way too soft, but there is another one perfect. And I want you to imagine climbing into that bed and feeling that it's just right. And as you imagine feeling that sensation that everything is well, that there is harmony, that there is comfort, that there is balance, that everything is sufficient to the needs that you have, I want you to imagine that you're falling asleep within a dream. And do that now as I count backwards from 5 to 1. 5, feeling like you're going to yawn. 4, feeling like your eyelids are just getting heavier and heavier. 3, getting deeper and deeper relaxed. 2, just feeling like you're nodding off. And 1, just falling asleep in that bed. And in that dream, I want you to imagine that you're back in exactly the place where you are right now, in your own home, in your own place, in your own body. And I'm going to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, but you will awaken with a feeling of balance, a feeling of resourcefulness, and a feeling of empowerment. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.